We are on the go with Joe with Halloween almost here. He introduces us to an Oregonian with a talent for making monsters.
He's not a mad scientist, but a local artist, and Joe is here now to tell us about the man behind Be Good Monster.
Yeah, Kim and Deb, on the famous monster scale, his creations are much less scary than the Wolfman and only slightly spookier than Tickle Me Elmo. Proof you don't always have to fear the creatures that go bump in the night. From the mind and pen of Matt Wayne, they spring to life. Monsters born from his dreams, but not his nightmares.
These are easily the least scary monsters I've ever seen.
Agreed. And that's the point.
Matt is the creator of what he calls Be Good Monster.
This is just a little dude on an island, but I think he sees something way off in the distance.
A collection of oddly adorable creatures that he draws, sells, and even animates.
I am slightly obsessed with putting little imagery on whatever I can get my mitts on.
Matt has worked as a professional musician and most recently as a handyman, but he has been doodling these strange little guys since childhood.
It was just a fun thing to do. I took a screen printing class at one of the letterpress places here in Southeast Portland. It was about a 3-hour class, and it was fun, so I started making t-shirts. Kept making them until the house started getting a little bit flooded with them, and my wife said, "What are you gonna do with all this stuff?" I'm like, "I don't know."
So he sold some shirts at a local school bazaar, and then the monsters, as one would expect, ran wild.
I started making little earrings out of shrinky dinks, coloring books, puzzles. These are actually bags. So at the Saturday market, you know, to pass the time, I'd have these shopping bags, and then I'd draw on them.
His creations became so popular, he quit his handyman job, and for several years now has been a full-time monster maker.
It was a hobby until I joined the Saturday market, and at that point, I was like, well, I can actually make a living doing this.
Now, Matt's creations, which he makes by hand, can be bought online at public markets and art shows. You can often find him hard at work in the basement, drawing inspiration from his faithful supervisors, Buddy and Ellie.
You know, these guys don't hurt.
And while the M word may conjure spooky images of Dracula and Frankenstein, Matt's monsters are designed to cause smiles instead of screams.
One of my popular shirts is a monster eating a city. It says "Eat Local," right? So it's the concept is these maybe not ill-intended monsters just getting the wrong idea of the slogan.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't. Yeah. It's not the monster's fault that you weren't more specific, right?
You got it.
And whether mischievous or misunderstood, Matt's imagination has an endless supply of crazy creatures.
It's just kind of what to do today, you know?
Just whatever you do, don't call these monsters monstrous.
Cute, fun, hopefully like inspires a little bit of happiness. That's kind of what I'm always going for.
And I love the name, Be Good Monster.
Yes, exactly, and it speaks to the whole vibe that he's putting out there. And I think what's really cool is, first of all, started as a hobby. He's made a living at it, and all the things that he sells, he actually physically makes. It's not like he just does the drawing and then sends it out to China or somewhere, and then they make it. He makes the buttons by hand. He makes he prints all his t-shirts by hand, so it's a real kind of literally a labor of love for this guy.
Yeah, and he's a character himself.
Very much so, yeah.
So neat. I just love it.
He's like a modern-day Dr. Seuss, if you will.
Kind of, yeah.
I love it. All right. And it's great that he's at the Saturday market. Can't think of a better place for him to sell his stuff.